Hello, this is Jesper from Väisla, and I am here together with Joel from the WTC team. I think we've finally been able to recover enough to start producing something, and we are going to be very, very original with something so controversial as a tier list. So tell me, Joel, what have you been up to?
Yeah, so I've been, as you're mentioning, recovering from WTC, coming fourth for a second time for me. I think it's the third time for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Three
yeah,
times now. They don't
yeah,
even
yeah.
count.
No, but I'm, trying to straight up real life. WTC always leaves this enormous void,
hmm
which you previously filled with like infinite talks and games prior to WTC, trying to prepare. That's basically become your life, and now it's hard to fill it with something. But I've been trying to like structure my life and doing all these things that I didn't have time to before, and I think I finally recovered
Okay.
from the letdown.
Did you
Before.
get the Nurgle thing?
Avoided the Nurgle plague this time, which is insane. I actually went the other direction, which is kind of crazy. I became like more productive. I filled the void
Incredible.
with productiveness and a better sleep schedule, which is like the most nerdy thing you've ever heard about.
Okay.
But that's
Yeah.
what,
So
that's what happened.
it's like a new year for you. You're having a fresh start.
New year,
We
new
we
you.
count our years in WTC. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
There's the Chinese New Year, traditional one, and the 440k players.
That's right.
Okay. And what did you play at WTC?
So I played, as I like to call it, demons with some world leader friends. No, but in all seriousness, I played world leaders with the Demonkin detachment, and I thought it was kind of crazy broken
hmm
esque, which was interesting because I started to get a little bit scared when I saw that literally nobody else was playing it. Well, I guess yeah, I think Astra was playing it, but beyond that, two out of the 44 teams were playing Demonkin World Leaders, and I thought it was very, very good.
hmm
And I did fairly well with them. I believe I won all my matches with at least 14 points. I didn't get a clean 20-0, but I'm happy with 14 plus and
Yeah,
all.
it's acceptable, I would say.
It's acceptable.
Yeah. And you were the top placing world leader player, technically, right? Even though I guess you self-identify as a demon player.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Technically, you're correct.
Yeah. So Vanilla can hire you for some coaching, maybe.
Exactly. Watch out, Vanilla. I'm
Yeah.
coming for you. Uh, no, but I think some amount of the success was obviously due to me and the Icelandic player being the only ones who was playing
hmm
Demonkins. So people didn't have enough time to prep against me. I mean, if you're facing like Liam's, VSL's aspect host list, you're gonna find like 5 or 6 that are very similar to it. Some among the tier one teams, so there's better reason to prepare for it because you have a high chance to play against it, obviously, which wasn't the case for me. And since my army was kind of complicated to play against or think about how it was gonna play out, rather,
Yeah.
I think I got a lot of advantage from that.
Absolutely.
I talked to Vanilla the day before, and I was kind of like, onto him where it's like, oh, I'm gonna meet you if we play, and it's like, oh, I look forward to it against your mono damage 2 army. And for me, that was just a funny thing to hear because then I feel like you haven't really understood what the army is about.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, not even the head judge knew how your army worked correctly. He needed to like change his ruling after 20 minutes, so that kind of speaks volume about like the complexity and how weird things happen. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, we shouldn't talk too much about the army, but I'll leave with this vague conceptual thing about it. And that's like, I like to talk about armies in like what kind of year they're being played. So like Warhammer 2024 is like, rhinos, a deep strike, 6 inch, woo, and now everyone has like reactive moves. They come in weird situations. They like, have turn one deep strike, or they do crazy things like my army did, and that's really where it shined. I think people thought about it like something that's really good at attacking like the back line with the strat, but what it really did was it kind of fucked up everything when it came to the combat phase and like pile and consolidate, and it got to play an extra phase of movement in a situation where people really couldn't control it. So you got like way more primary than you should. You got to trade up way better than you otherwise would, and you could contain units that couldn't like flip the points. I played against a Blood Angels player that couldn't get primary points with his Dante and his Sanguinary Guards just because letters kept on spawning on that point, then ran away to charge something else, and then 10 new more came that. It was crazy.
Yeah. And it's already nerfed now. So
It's already nerfed, so
you're gonna have to find a new drug.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Perhaps from this tier list.
Ooh, yeah.
Should we get started?
Absolutely. Yeah. This will be interesting. And this will obviously be with the latest MFM changes due to Nids and that card, but I guess we'll get to that.
And including the Votann points.
Ooh, that will be interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're starting with the Imperium factions, and first off we have Ultramarines. What do you think about them nowadays? People are playing like they're still playing like the casual Calgar plus company heroes blob without it generating CP as some kind of value piece for, what is it, like 310 points now or something like that? I gotta say, I met it at WTC, and it's still, I mean, it's not that bad with Fight on Death, etc. But like, yeah, it has its challenges. I mean, I keep looking at it from the perspective of how the list worked, like autumn last year for the BCV. So I have a very hard time accepting how much weaker it is now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think like there's two major selling points to playing Ultramarines, and one of them is abusing CP, and the second one is getting a stronger over moment, right?
Yeah.
And also the epic heroes, and they kind of nerfed the epic heroes and the CP degenerate stuff by too much, in my opinion. So I don't see them as a strong choice.
No. People keep talking about like some Storelands build, and I think it's acceptable, but I gotta say I'm not that impressed.
No, I would put them in C tier as well.
Tier. Top and bottom of C tier for now.
Yeah, I don't think they're like, I would never bring this as in D tier, but I don't think they're in the middle either. So C seems good.
Okay. Then we have Blood Angels.
Blood Angels.
We've talked about a list just, 2 hours ago or something.
It's true. Yeah, I think Blood Angels is great, actually. I actually think they were the same like super level 0. And what I mean with that is like when the new points came out for Blood Angels, it seemed like the most obvious choice. And if you look historically back to last year of WTC, like Blood Angels was the obvious choice back then too.
No.
But the best teams didn't end up playing it. We played, you played Dark Angels, obviously, and it felt like it was gonna be the same this year, but this time with Space Wolves.
Yeah.
But I think when we tested it, I played Blood Angels against your Space Wolves, and we played it the other way around against World Eaters. It actually felt quite good. I really liked Australia's lists, for example. I think it was super well tuned in how everything moved and how everything worked.
Yeah, and I think they one way that they made it work on WTC now was that they had a first defender slot to fill when they played Blood Angels, and that's they've defended and made sure that it got a very heavy staging table, and that worked out well. And I guess now with the, as you say, with the nerfs to Knights and also Death Guard that I could see have been problems for Blood Angels, I agree that they're sort of the lid is gone, and I think it's a Blood Angel time basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it could be a little worse for them now that they changed it. Like, well, I guess we'll get to that later, but I think we will see more index Death Guard builds. So that part of the metagame will maybe make it worse for them, but they will have less stuff. So who knows? Yeah. I think I would put it in S tier, honestly. Yeah. I think it's great.
Slam it in.
Slam it in. We'll see, and I guess we'll go from left to right, who we feel inherently stronger within its own tier, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Then we have the Black Templars.
I have no idea, man. I feel like Black Templar always becomes this like either is some kind of value Rhino, Sword Brethren, R2, Sheep build, kind of like Space Marines and Rhinos situation.
Yeah.
Or it's like they spam like Sword Brethren.
Yeah.
And
I will say I got the codes in the app a couple of days ago, and then I spent some time like reading through the data sheets and also as well as the obviously the armor rule and the detachments, and I feel like to start with the data sheets don't impress me that much. There's like some power to the Emperor's Champion and for one leader, or well, two leaders actually, but still, I mean, and if you look at like the Crusader squad as well as the Sword Brethren, I mean, there's still don't feel like they're getting there unless you once again find some kind of like broken horde build where you just like get too much for the points and overwhelmingly ask one specific question, but I don't see them being there currently. I gotta say that it looks quite anemic, is my take for now.
yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a worse version of what Matt Bonnet played at WTC with World Leaders.
Yeah, if you go down that route.
And
But
do
there's
very similar things.
but there's like a transport attachment and like a more general detachment. Yeah, but once again, I think we agree.
Yeah. Yep. Probably worse than Ultramarines, honestly.
Yeah. Until we see a proven build that's gonna win a big tournament. You never know. Then we have Space Wolves.
Maybe
My
you have
dogs.
something to say about this since you played it at WTC.
Yeah. I think they kind of thrived in a Knights meta with the obviously with the Iron what was it called, a Rune Priest, no?
Right. Rune
Yeah,
Priest with
the
Annihilator.
Rune Priest with Annihilator build, and that was like extremely good at handling Knights. I honestly think you could have played into Knights without playing them at all if you like committed into more melee as well. I think there are some interesting things left to look at, like for example the Helm of the Beast Slayer in the Beast Slayer detachment is an amazing enhancement that like gives you constant armor of contempt against monster character vehicles on a unit, like on a 20-man blob. That could be quite interesting. And so I think and for example Poland played a quite interesting unit as well, like six of the Hide Takers with a leader as well, actually with that enhancement, and that kind of kills everything as well because they get sustained and reroll ones who hit, and like a million attacks, 6x6 attacks, 36. So that's like there's still some things going on there, and that I think are interesting. And obviously the Thunderbolts are extremely strong as well. So I think I would put them somewhere here. I could see them.
I think I would put them in A. Speculative A, probably on the downturn of A. And I think you can also still play like maybe Iron Priest with Lancers,
For
for
sure.
example.
Yeah.
Because like the rapid fire becomes so much better when you have like rage. What is it, like 72 or something stupid like that?
It's 72, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's
then
everything when you look at the Lancer is like more than you expect. The strength, the damage, the AP.
And then rapid fire 36 is like that's fine, only to give that to one weapon. And I feel like at the beginning of the Specialist Codex, we also kind of looked at like spamming blood claws, having like advance and charge, like spamming blood claws, one with like Njol's Stormcaller and one with like Ragnar, obviously.
Yeah, and one with
I think that's interesting too, and I think Cavs would be perfect for that kind of list.
Yeah.
Because you want something to open the game with, and then you like flood the board.
Yeah, and they're obviously amazing. Yeah, and like for example, Germany played a Lancer now even. So there's
Absolutely.
I agree. Okay, then we have one of my favorite factions, the Dark Angels, and I'm cooking a lot with this. I think they're interesting. There's like you can work so much with the how the keywords go into the units. Like if there's a Deathwing keyword to the unit, which you can play in Wrath of the Rock and like unlock that part of the stratagem suit, as well as with the Rainwing, for example, like Blade Guards and Vanguard Vets become Deathwing, which means that they do the charge in the opponent's charge phase thing for 6 inches, which is like obviously extremely powerful. And I think, and I would really love to play with Lion as well because it's like a really cool model. And there's no tension between playing him as the warlord and Astral, who's still gonna generate CP even if it's not the warlord. So like everything comes together. You get all the CP. The challenge is like finding a good shooting base, I would say, or like fully committing to melee. And like Death
Right.
Knights are quite expensive now at 250 points. But I
And
think there's
there's
things
the
in
bikes as well, right? Which
there
are
are the
like
bikes, yeah, but they're kind of hard to play on
man
character.
rate, yeah,
No.
maneuver. I think I would put them in B tier for now. I want them to be an A. I don't think they've proven themselves to be worthy to be an A yet. I know you really want to put them there, and I do too. I'm also like biased towards. I love playing Death Knights. I think Lion is like an awesome model. The fact to have like 3-up invul and then like fight first.
Yeah.
It's like
and mortal protection sometimes.
mortal wound protection, -1 to be wounded. It's kind of like nuts, and then obviously lone up. So it's yeah. I will say.
We'll see. Okay.
PhDs.
Then we have the Adeptus Custodes.
Yeah, this is something I played a lot previously. I never brought them to WTC, but this is like my first army, and I played them at a bunch of team and single events.
Yep.
I think Custodes. It's funny because before this WTC, like obviously wanted to try them, and I thought they were gonna be pretty good.
Yep.
And I guess most of the like medium list I played on medium tables, I felt like, oh, this is probably an 11, or this is a 12, or this is a 10, or whatever. And I felt decent, like hypothetically, and also after the fact. But whenever I played a match, I always lost with like 1 or 2 points, and it felt kind of hard to continue with such an army. It's interesting though with the way that like WTC kind of panned out, that people like kept their knights list until later the pairings.
Yeah.
I think Custodes would been a great hunter for those lists.
Yeah.
And they would also be fine to have still in the pairings in the like mid tables. In this new metagame, I'm not sure. I think they can be probably decent against Blood Angels, especially if they play like only melee, obviously. Not so sure about how good they're going to be against Chaos Knights and Death Guards, etc. I think I would put them in the middle, but they will be like super meta.
Yeah, and because I mean the argument was always like, but Death Guard, and now at least they're down a peg, and I think you could probably play the matchups. I mean, you're not gonna get wiped, and you can probably like, if you outskill your opponent and get some things going for you, I think you can absolutely win. So I mean I wouldn't mind putting them here like high B.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And just FYI, we're talking about like a list with only infantry, basically. Like your opponent gets a recycle, bring it down, just to point that out how much. Like, don't play Kalidas in your list. That's not where the like real strength of Custodes comes from. Okay, Grey Knights. This is something I haven't seen in like ages. Like I don't think we played like almost a single game of Grey Knights before WTC. I just felt like they seem like they haven't had an update for forever.
And now they have the codex.
Now, yeah, and like it feels like the thing with Grey Knights is that like they're overcosted, but they're supposed to do like fancy things, like protect their units in good ways with like reactive move, and you like blink them and whatever.
Yep.
But it feels like in 10th, like half of the armies can do that. Yep. And then like Grey Knights is just the same thing, but they have like bad damage and cost a lot of points. That's just my feeling.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they like the index detachment, at least before the nerf, was so extremely good. And that and now it's quite obvious if you look at the different attachments that like they're trying to split it up and make like one detachment work for some part of it, and like it doesn't really come together to something more powerful, in my opinion. And so you're back to like looking at Warpbane as perhaps the best detachment still, and that kinda didn't really make it before either, because like it's good to have rerolled hits, but it's not enough, I would say, when your workers the sheets are so expensive. So like as you say, you're moving away from all the tricks that sort of leverage and make up for the fact that everything is like overcosted, so to speak. And yeah, I think coming together, I'm a bit skeptical, I would say.
I think I would put them in C or maybe even D, honestly.
Yeah, let's
but
do
I don't know if it's in D. We'll see. Maybe we'll put it up to like end of C, because I don't think it's unplayable. I think you will win a lot of like it's because I feel like at this point in 10th, like Games Workshop has become so much better at balancing the game. So it's becoming like every patch makes the game better, I think.
I agree.
We're gonna see a lot of like things in B and then not a lot of things in S or B.
That's true, but on the other hand, like we're in the the discovering phase right now, and like we're not seeing any power from them right now. Let's do that.
Let's make some headlines.
Let's make some headlines indeed.
All right.
Okay, and what is this? We talked about
yeah, that's always the question. We tried to run through this beforehand, but I think it's Astra Militarum.
Yeah.
I think we removed the general Space Marine.
Let's hope we did that.
Okay.
So this is Astra.
Astra is kind of interesting. I think we were close at bringing Astra to WTC. Yep. We were really like, I think definitely our 8th army for the way that like our players could play different kind of armies. I think the two worst ones were Votann and Thousand Suns, and I think we were pretty aware about that. And our last player, we were thinking about whether we should switch to Astra, pretty late in the process.
Absolutely.
Because they were so strong previously, and then they got a nerf, and then obviously the new like Knights meta came, right?
Yep.
And in the end, I think we maybe felt like they were stronger than Thousand Suns, but we had so many more reps on Thousand Suns that we brought that anyways.
Yeah.
And in a new like world where Death Guard and the Knights are nerfed a little bit at least. I think they will be better. I'm not sure they will.
They kind of like to play against
all these melee armies though, like these melee pressure armies. I'm not sure they
did get a small points increase as well, right? On a few times.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, exactly. Like the Kriegs and all of that, just they got increased before the Knight buff came, basically.
Yeah.
Like after we had Nordic Masters, that's basically when it came.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, I do see them winning tournaments, like.
Yeah, I think I would put them in A.
And like, obviously the Bullgreen are catching up steam again, and I think obviously that's where you wanna be. If they're playable, that then you can always like try to address the pushing problem, basically.
Yeah, Astra has a lot of tools. I mean, I remember the like old Krieg list was like broken because nobody could deal with the Kriegs, and because there was a lot of shooting going on. But then if like Bloodenders and a lot of melee is gonna be good, then Bullgreens, you have tools for that too. So I would put them in A tier.
I think they're
probably better than Space Wolves.
I agree
as well. Okay.
Okay,
do you want to take this one?
Sorry?
Do you want to take this one?
Sure. Sure. Sisters, I think there's one good build, and that's in my opinion. I mean, you can do Hallowed Martyrs as well, but there's it's the same data sheets. It's Morven, a couple of Immolators, 3 Castigators, and 30 Sacrosancts. But that is better in Champions of Faith, and I think I really like the list that we played at WTC that Jonathan developed, and which I guess a lot of people were playing for a bit, but then it died down, and no one, apart from us, at least in the Seed 1 teams, played it. And I think
what Jonathan did is basically scale it back into a more normal list from the like Jaily version that then Australia or New Zealand played.
That's right, yeah. It was Australia.
With the like Archiflagelants and the Rhino and all of that jazz.
No, I think it's just it's a great list. It's a great all-round list. I know that he said quite a few times that he thinks it would be a very good singles list. So I think we're somewhere here. To move
I agree. I think I would put it in A tier, like top 8 tier.
Yeah.
I think it will also be good against like Astra, for example. I'm not sure how good it will be against like these horde armies that might become out of Space Wolves and World Eaters and all of that, but that's another discussion.
I think at least in testing, he was able to like handle that. So I mean, I think Bloodenders might be a bit too much, maybe, but I think we're looking at it here.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have Admech.
Yeah, Admech is a tough nut to crack. It feels like the most cliche thing to say in Warhammer ever. But like Admech, like GC and whatever, are this like kind of niche Xenos armies. Or I guess it's not Xenos, but whatever. You know what I mean. It feels so weird that it
They're
is.
away somewhere.
I mean, it's like horde-ish armies, which cost a lot of actual real money to buy and like are kind of wonky. Uh, uh, Sweden doesn't have a lot of Admech players, and we have tested it thoroughly, and we didn't, or thoroughly, but we tested it some, and we didn't feel like it held a par to WTC, and we tested like against the list with our Admech specialists from the WTC list that, for example, Go Lonka played and some others, and I wasn't too impressed, and I never have been really, honestly. And also with some of the lists that have been the best, like Virgil or whatever, I feel like they have some real trouble when you're actually playing on the table with a clock and have to move your models, and you're not sitting on TTS and playing for 4.5 hours.
Yeah, and like you get help as well, like keeping track of all the different plasmas and I don't know snipers, and there's a countless like.
Exactly. So I feel like you're going through a lot of hoops to like be kind of medium/bad.
Yeah.
I actually have them in D tier.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. I'm with you.
I don't think they have like I don't think they're countering anything in particular. I think you can build Admech list in a way to counter different type of offensive profiles. Like you can attack like hordes, or maybe can you even do that? I don't know. You can attack maybe tanks. You can attack few shots.
Yeah, you say that, but then you pay like 500 points for 6 breachers that have 3 wounds each. What's going on there? Like it's
I don't know.
very
I don't
impressive.
like
I don't like them in theory, and I don't like them in practice. Goodbye.
I feel like when also the like Admech, like the best, some of the Admech players and like Ziegler and whomever, like a reason why they're winning is not because they're playing Admech, it's because they're like a great player. You know, and I feel like they would do even better if they played an even better faction.
It's a very good point.
Yeah.
But you get some points from like it being a bit more of an uncommon army. Like people aren't that used to play against it.
Exactly.
But I mean, to be honest, from my perspective, like whenever you play against it, it just feels so nice. It's a punchable face you're going into all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I think about it.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, then we have one of the big boogeymen. I think what people actually viewed as the better knights list for quite a bit, at least coming into WTC. We didn't think that way, obviously, since we didn't even bring them, and now they're nerfed. Imperial Knights.
Yeah, Imperial Knights, as you mentioned, like Sweden has always had a lot of knight players. It felt like the like knight nation, if you know what I mean. We brought like double knights to 2 WTC in a row when like basically nobody did that. And I think when knights are the actual meta and Sweden only brings one knight, that should tell you something. That like Imperial Knights were a bit too easy to counter at WTC. They had a range problem. They had a number of shots problem. They had like so you could counter them with hordes, you could counter them with outranging them, and they also I feel like they had very unreliable damage as well. Like, I mean, it's not like double Gatling with sustained or lethal with 36 range. So. And now they got nerfed and like across the board, like on like basically all of their big knights. And if you're gonna play this at a singles event and you don't have the option to pick your table, I think they're gonna be quite bad. Like,
I agree. You're gonna like in 5 rounds, you're gonna play into something that you can't beat, and you're just gonna die.
Like on a medium table, I don't think you can play against Bloodleaders, for example. No. You don't have enough shots to shoot a Krieg blob, or you don't have enough like that's gonna rest on the other side of the wall. You don't have enough shots to kill the Sackers either.
I'm down somewhere here. What do you think?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
I think it's better than Ultramarines though.
I agree. Okay. Let's take 10 seconds just to remind you people we would really appreciate if you could subscribe to our channel. It helps us delay the inevitable financial ruin that we're heading towards. So we would love for you to click that button. Okay, absolutely. Let's go into chaos.
Okay, so here's the other boogeyman, or the actual real boogeyman.
The real boogeyman. Look how much cooler he is. It's like torn up, and there's the chaos icon. Yeah, here we go.
I think when CK came out and their codex came out alongside the like points buffs, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Imperial Knights, Imperial Knights." But I think in Sweden we very quickly looked at Chaos Knights being the stronger one, like within the first week, like very quickly. Both the non-Knight players and the Knight players felt this way. And I think a lot of our time we spent actually trying to like understand what the big thing about Imperial Knights actually was. Like something. But I don't feel like we did. And we had this discussion, which was we were testing with France, and we were very opposite sides of the like Knight spectrum of how to handle it, whether we should play it and how to attack it and whatever. And I remember the metaphor was that like you don't bring like hammers to a nail convention or whatever it was. And I mean, but Björn, he built like a diamond nail that there was no hammer that could solve it.
Yeah.
I mean, we first defended with CK at WTC 7 out of 7 rounds, and he picked whatever was best for the team and took the least amount he took was a 12. But most of the games was like 15 plus. I mean, he was the second player after Leon VSL in scores out of the tier 1 teams. So, and I still think it's crazy good. I think you can lose like a Stalker or a Carnivore from his list. And it's not like nothing. When you have so few units, you still want to make actions. You want to be able to project like threats in different directions and whatever. But I still think it's gonna be crazy good.
So where do you have these bad boys?
I have it in S tier.
You have it in S tier. Better. I think you have to remember that there's like the tables are a bit worse, obviously, than for Björn.
Sure.
And there's also the nerfs. I would put them after Blood Angels.
Yeah, that I'm fine with that. But I don't put them in A tier because I still feel like they win against everything in A tier. Like that's not a good system to look at, but I think they have good matchup against everything in A tier. I think the Blood Angels will depend on table and so on. So yeah, I still think they're crazy. And also like Rottigus is great in that list when you have the like long range like really punishing list with the Gatling. So.
Yeah, can even ingress if you want. Okay, and that's what I tried to Google now is what this icon is. Do you know?
I think it's ESM, right?
I believe it is Chaos Demons.
It is?
Yeah, because I think Chaos Demons, they do this ring thing, and that's how you separate them.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm wrong, and someone's
it's like
love telling me, but yeah, let's say that. Okay, this is a very broad topic, I believe, but like what do you think about them? This is your thing. And don't only talk about bloodletters. I want to hear about other gods as well.
Sure. I think index demons are fine, like the big kind of play 5 big dudes and some stuff. Not that great though. I think both of us were playing it some a while back when they changed the rule with like 6-inch deep strike. I think they're okay with the Grandmaster and Bloodletters to like kill big things, but I'm not sure that's where it's at either. I think I've been tinkering some with Singe. Like they also got changed in the latest set, where their main strat to deal damage, I think, is Pyrogenesis. Costs 1 CP instead of 2, and if you want to use that strat every turn, that's a big difference. Especially when you get 2 CP a turn. So I've just started thinking with that, and I think there's something like a little bit unfair in that list where you can use lock as indirect, but it's not actually indirect every turn. With like strength 13 and AP 3.
With the enhancement that lets you shoot through something else.
Exactly. So so it's quite speculative for me. I think the lowest point for them are like somewhere between B and C.
Yeah, and I think it is also. I mean, Shadow Legion is a fine build.
Right. I even forgot about Shadow Legion. I mean, there's. I don't see them in. I think I would put them in B for now. Probably like top B.
Top B.
That's where I would put them.
I agree. Okay, now we have what I think is Chaos Space Prince.
Hooray! What do you think about them? You believe a lot.
I do believe it. I really want to believe in them, but I think you're you keep getting like pushed into creations of bile, in my opinion. Like, excuse me so much, it's a Nurgle plague. Sorry, still trying to recover. No, I think they are. They get to play quite basic 40k, what you would describe as 2024 40k.
Yeah.
But it's still like quite powerful data sheets. You can do some powerful stuff with like the enhanced augmentations from Bile, but it's obviously a bit unpredictable what you get unless you choose only one. I think I really like the Rit Raiders, but then they got like this WTC combined with the GW FAQ where they're like they can shoot indirect, but then they need to see something to be eligible to pact to be able to shoot indirect, which is a bit
Right.
awkward. So then you probably don't play them, for example. And then now you're kind of looking at a melee only army, and that's like not a place where I would like to be honest.
Especially if you don't have fly in your army.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I yeah, I'm quite negative to be honest. I mean, I like the ambition as well with like the Chaos Cults list because like they make a Cursed Cultist so incredibly good. But the problem is that that's the only thing they do, basically.
Yeah, and I think they have issues against other melee lists that kind of pushes them back.
For sure,
I don't
for
think
sure.
it will work.
And like you have what is it like 700 points that are extremely efficient, but the rest kind of sucks. Like I get the idea like that USA had like play some predators, play a Disco Lord for example, which is like kind of good data sheets, but it still doesn't really get there in my opinion. I think there's some merit as well to think about like playing a pact bound list with like Vashtor, maybe a Disco Lord or two, and like maybe Forge Fiends or Predators, whatever like path you want to go. And I think it might be something that plays pretty nice 40k. I mean, I thought a bit about it coming into WTC, but I kind of dropped it at some point because it's still not like that powerful. I think the problem with Pact Bound is once again, like if you don't pass the test, you don't get the upgraded Pact as well, which makes it even more unpredictable, and then you're gonna cry about that. So it's, yeah, yeah,
I don't know. It's somewhere in the middle, I think. I think I would tend to go towards Pact Bound something Vashtor. I think they will become a bit better. I think they played solid 40k against most of our lists, like, but I don't feel like it had enough oomph for us to like continue working on it. It felt like more of a fallback plan, but now when the like top tier has kind of gotten nerfed, like Forge Fiends and like Finks and Rhinos are gonna be better against like what we're looking at in like tier S and A. So
maybe
I think
here
we're there
more
somewhere.
proven than Dark Angels for sure.
I think it's like literally on the same spot as Custodes. It's like the same, different, but in the same kind of category tier, if
That's
you
still
will.
here.
Yeah, it's fine.
Then we have a Death Guard.
This is a tough one.
Yeah.
They obviously got super nerfed lately or recently. And it's
That
like
much.
all the best data sheets basically went down. But the weird thing about Death Guard is like their entire book is good. So it's kind of like maybe not the definer, but that's it. And I don't know. I still think they're good. There's some things that didn't get nerfed, like Mortarion didn't get nerfed. He is good. He didn't really
He's
show
good.
up in WTC because so many other things were like kind of broken. And also the Nurgle Prince didn't go down. And since PBCs were like almost on the brink of being too expensive already, and now they got even more expensive. That kind of, since Mortarion and the Prince kind of leads you into playing Index, and PBCs leads you into Hammer, I feel like it's going to turn into like an Index world,
For sure.
especially if you look at the other like potential melee armies in the top tables. I don't know. It's tough. I feel like you lose like like 100, 200 points or something.
Yeah, it depends. I think you shift the list around a bit, and then it's like 150 points or something like that.
Yeah.
I think the list that we didn't.
I don't want to play against. I don't think I want to play against CK. I don't think I want to play against Sisters. I don't think I want to play against Astra. It's like, but I'm fine against playing against Space Marines and all the other things around it. And I'm sure you can play a tight game against some of this as well, like having some player skill be better.
Yeah, I think there's somewhere here, like either Darkness.
Yeah. Probably the best out of A, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, your baby.
My baby, my beloved Emperor's Children. I gotta say, I looked a bit at like Lennon's path at WC. Was kind of impressive. I'm sure he got quite a bit of like babysitting in the in the pairings process, as well as he's probably like oftentimes better than his opponent, to be fair, and that kind of
Mhm.
gets his stats on steroids a little bit. But I think it is still a very like powerful army. It's still hurting a bit from the nerfs, like you're playing a bit less things that you would prefer, in my opinion. But I think it's like it has all the tools, and now that like Death Guard has been toned down a bit, and the Knights have been toned down a bit, and like other things are gonna pop up more. I think it's a good time to play Emperor's Children, in my opinion. Um, and once again, you're gonna play Coterie of the Conceited, obviously, and I think the lists are gonna converge very, very quickly. Like you're probably gonna play like 2 Demon Princess and 1 or 2 Mother Fiends, in my opinion.
I feel like before like Demon King World Leaders, I feel like Emperor Children was like the best way to prey on medium to elite size infantry.
Yeah,
And if we look at like the top tier armies that we have in our tier list at least, I think they're gonna be continuously pretty good at that.
absolutely. Excuse me.
So it's very much a like meta game thing.
They do not want to play against Chaos Knights, I believe, probably. But
I don't think so either. But I think they're probably don't want to play against Index,
I think
DG
you can
either.
make it.
But I think they're good into everything else here. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
somewhere
somewhere here.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
cool stuff. And then we have our beloved Thousand Suns. Do you think they
They're
turn
not
out
so
to be
beloved.
the broken S tier army that was the talk of the
No.
town before WTC?
Yeah, I mean it was definitely our eighth army in for us, but some of that had to do with like it not really being good against IK and CK. Not the way we looked at it, and it's like interesting because I think our idea of a lot of armies going into WTC had a lot to do with how really good our CK list was, and it always getting the first table.
Fair point, yeah.
And I feel like some people thought that Thousand Suns could beat like Knights,
Mhm.
but then they probably played against like IK, worse version, a table, few knocks down,
Yeah.
and then everything changes. I don't know how good they will be into like the new top tier meta. I don't think that we want to play against Blood Angels, honestly. I don't think they want to play against CK either.
Mm.
But then I don't know. Don't think they want to play against Astra either, honestly.
Mm. I think Emperor's Children is like tight, to be honest. It's anyone can win it, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Gonna be
Magnus
difficult.
is always the X factor, right? Because like so many armies are good at like hunting down the rubrics and can kill mutalisks, but then like Magnus -1 damage, and that's always like a problem for those armies.
Yeah.
And the ones that are really good at killing Magnus has an issue against all the other shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
I think we're looking somewhere here, in my opinion. Here or here.
It's possible. I'm starting to think that maybe Spacewolf should jump down in B tier together with Thousand Suns.
Like this?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
They are, yeah, this is like more convincing armies, in my opinion.
Yeah. And also it becomes more elegant.
Yeah. Indeed.
Okay, World Eaters.
World Eaters.
Yeah, I
Rest in peace, Demon King. Now we're looking at Index, in my opinion, but 2 very different builds. Like either you play a kind of standard build with some Forge Fiends,
right.
some trading things, maybe Angron, I guess, because it's cool, or you do like all the Berserkers, I guess.
Yeah. And I also think you can play Demon King.
Fair. Yeah.
It becomes a very different army because it doesn't revolve around like controlling combat and primary, but rather having like it becomes almost like playing Hammer in a way. Like you have like Forge Fiends, and I think it's gonna be better if you play singles, so you can like have the spoiler, for example, in your army as well. And you're trying to use like your shooting threats to deploy letters to do like some unfair things, to kill things behind enemy lines and do actions and whatever. And then you have like rhinos in front of that and some jackets. I think that could be pretty decent. Not as busted, as it was before, but I still think it will be good. And I think Matt Bonus this will also be quite good.
Yeah.
Like,
I think my only problem with like both those builds,
mhm.
especially the Berserker build, is like if you look at the top 4 armies in the meta that we
Yeah,
have defined so far, like that's not what you want to go into with
no,
Raiders, in my opinion.
it's a very team army in a way. I think it can win against almost anything if you get caught off guard. Like you get fucked by like them swinging up 10 berserkers with piling a solid at 6 into the wrong place where you don't want. Like we've all been up,
Yeah.
had that happens to us once or twice, and you know that as well with the blood claws. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would put them somewhere there.
Yeah.
I still think they're maybe better than Thousand Suns, though, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think one thing to remember is like I think we're looking at this a bit more from a singles perspective, maybe, and
yeah,
like Thousand Suns have broader play into matchups. I think
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
if we can force ourselves to
Yeah,
make that
okay,
decision.
you win.
Thank you. And then I think this looks like an evil Eldar form, so I would
Hmm?
say that this is Drukhari.
I agree.
What do you think? I gotta say, like towards the end of our testing, when we tested against like the German list, that I think could actually be improved a bit. I think it's they are kinda good, in my opinion.
Especially if you have access to Eldar in your list, playing singles, right?
Yeah, allegedly, yeah, true.
You can play troops, right, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Allegedly better, yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but I agree. I thought we were just gonna. At the beginning, it felt like, oh,
Yeah,
this
like
is a
D tier,
haywire.
everyone is gonna take 14 points was like our initial.
Yeah, exactly. And like, oh, this is like a classic haywire list. This is a Knights meta. We just don't choose them, and then we crush them with like melee pressure. But
Yeah.
that wasn't really true because they had like Lelifur was great, and they had this incubate brick with like Court of the Arkham brick with like that had deep strike, so you could like ingress it, and since it already has fight first, it became kind of hard to play around. And
Yeah.
on some tables, like Scourges was really good, and like Taluses are still fine in melee and hard to kill. And so I think they were way better than I assumed them to be. I would probably put them somewhere in B tier, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Like somewhere here, I think.
Yeah, sure. I'm done.
You're done. Then we have like a more elegant looking form of the same, and I think that's Eldar.
Absolutely.
And I think the list that to beat here is obviously the aspect host list with 30 Hawks that was pioneered by like France and Belgium, for example, and to name a few. And I think that's it's a really impressive list in my opinion. Like it can play against basically anything. It can punish and like abuse a lot of things in the game. If you see like a weakness in your opponent's game plan, then you can strike for it. And like the Corsairs are amazing skirmishing, or at least like mission and contesting units for their points. And like you get a lot of things going, and obviously like Fugue and shooting with all his friends and jumping into transport every single time is like extremely abusive as well. So I think this is a really good army.
I agree. Like they have one of like Eldar's big strengths is obviously how fast they are, but they usually are or can be quite bad at trading. So you always have to like choose your spot with Eldar.
Yeah.
And right now with like the Hawks and like Fugan with 10 Fire Dragons going in and out of a Wave Serpent, you can like don't have to do that. But when you get to those kind of bricks, you usually don't have enough units. But when you have like the pirates and all of that other jazz, all of a sudden you have like 17 units. So it's like crazy.
There's always a solution. Like you can shoot 30 times 4 shots from the Swooping Hawks. You can like you there take 15 mortals, or you can like put all the fire dragons in something. Like there's a solution for every profile. Jane Sar and her friends is like an amazing like fight first and heroic threat. So I think it's a very complete and satisfying army. in my opinion.
I agree, and you can really choose the tempo in the game, which is like super powerful when you're a good player. You can like, oh, okay, I will play this slow and take it easy, and we can play a close like 10 to 12 game. Or like I find, like you were saying, find a weakness, and then you can push for like a lot of points if you're playing teams or, just want
You
a
just like
content
winning.
you just like fucking crushing them. So yeah, I would put them in S tier, and I don't think it's particularly. Maybe the best in the army. Yeah,
I mean,
maybe the best in the game.
yeah,
I'm down.
yeah, you're
I
done. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's
I would,
close.
if I had to
Between
pick.
all three of them are close, I
Yeah,
think. Let's get that said. Yeah.
but I think like it can play against Blood Angels, can play against Knights. It might struggle a bit against
Yeah,
these.
I feel like the power level are equal, but the thing that makes Eldar the best is that they're so versatile. Like Blood Angels are so good on their table. Seeker are so good on their table.
Fair
And
point.
Eldar can play on the table.
Yeah,
And while their like highs are not as high, their lows are also not as low. So that's why I would put them there.
makes sense.
Speaking of not highs and lows,
The
let's
great
go with
equalizer.
nice thing. This is just the most classic B tier army in the game. Like
Slam it
it
right
cannot
into
be
the middle.
pushed. Like unless you're playing like world leaders or like spam melee, then you can easily push them honestly.
Yeah,
But Necrons are, I think they're like a B tier army. I think they're at the end of B tier because I don't think they will like playing against like Emperor Children, Blood Angels, World Eaters, whatever.
yeah, it's a bit
Uh,
dangerous.
and even against their good matchups, they're like,
And I think like
whatever.
what we are discussing here is like Star Shatter or Awakened Dynasty, probably the Silent King, right? Some raids,
Exactly, yeah.
some
I'm not
destroyers.
thinking about UKTC, Tesseract Volt meta
No,
here.
no, or like warrior spam, for example, because
Yeah.
like it's a very specific question that you commit into, and I'm not sure I would do that, but personally, like into a more open field.
Mm,
So yeah, I think we're somewhere here, right?
I agree.
Yeah,
And there's no fault in taking it. Like it's gonna be fine.
yeah,
You're gonna have a lot of close games, and a lot of people are gonna be fooled into that they think they can push into things,
yeah.
and you're gonna win the game. It's like similar to Death Guard Index, but has way less punch,
Yeah.
which gives you less agency. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like
As compared to like what we talked about formerly, like the elder list, like, you're just gonna position yourself and see what the opponent decides to like do with the game.
yeah, exactly. Which is somewhere I don't want to be in an individual team.
Ever in my life.
No.
Okay.
Orky boys.
Okay,
I
boys.
want to put them in the tier.
Yeah, I think the problem is like with the latest points nerfs that happened before WTC, you're kind of inclined to play more melee. And I feel like nowadays, when I get to play against an army that barely has any shooting, and that also isn't that fast, because so it doesn't really want to pop the WAG turn one, and that means like it doesn't threaten a turn one charge either. Like you just deploy on the line on most deployments, apart from like search and destroy, and that's just an amazing advantage that you're not used to how powerful and fast and threatening all the units are when they get to deploy on the line, and I think that's like a fundamental weakness.
Yeah, they have like basically all melee in Warhorde, right? They basically don't have any fly except if you play that whatever leader.
Exactly.
Dude, so
The
that's
mech
gonna
guy.
be like yeah, one unit, right?
It's not gonna save
And
you.
you're gonna play in trucks, and then you have like a timing advantage too, like not being able to comfortably select when you're gonna be as most powerful is like fundamentally really bad.
Yeah,
Like Emperor Children has advance and fallback, shoot and charge every turn of the game. Like and your army becomes like 10% better than every other army one battle round, and
yeah,
it's like that's not enough.
I agree. And like
Uh,
you're kind of pushed into playing war bosses and stuff, and they get extra buffs from VAG as well. It's very awkward. Very
yeah,
awkward. Hope for
get them out of here.
another new detachment that had
Get them out of
shooting.
here.
That's
Get
gonna
them
save
out of
you.
here.
Get out of here. Okay.
Schnitzy Midzy.
Nids.
Mm.
Once again, what I see here is a very punchable face, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
I think yeah. It feels like maybe they will become better now that like there's less like anti-tank situations and you can play like go back to like index invasion fleet Nids and
Sure.
playing like all the Maliceptors and Exocrines and like some Genes to the Blob, something like that. Calabro from Sweden likes to play. I think that would be solid in a singles environment. Like you put a Maliceptor on the bottom, it costs a little bit too little point for the amount of things you have to put into it to kill it, and then you like start the game around that. So you actually have proactive threats, which like Necrons doesn't, for example. But it still doesn't walk through walls. It has big monsters. It doesn't have that high damage.
And the subterranean assault thing that hasn't really turned out to be that great either, right?
No, it feels fun. I played it a lot before, or a lot. I played some games before W2C, and I felt like the upside wasn't high enough to test all the datasheets and things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And even when you delivered some of the datasheets, it was hard to like trade in a good way in many phases with the army. So
I think
I think it's
somewhere,
fine. It's
to be honest.
yeah, I think so. Unfortunately, it feels sad, but yeah.
They need something more.
Yeah. Speaking of playing the game, but in like year 2008 or something,
Yeah.
we have now, which has only shooting. Like, they have like they play one phase. They don't really have any like movement tricks. They don't have like it feels like when we're talking about like Warhammer 2025, like everyone has like some weird trick where they can deep strike in a weird place, they can lift their units, they can reactive move, they can blood search, they can advance and charge. They have shooting, they can sit in transports
Yeah,
and
they
get
can go
wood.
back into transports.
They can go back in the transport, like and Tau has like nothing of that, and they activate in one phase only.
Yeah.
And I think that's just fundamentally how far away the game has gotten from that point is so huge that
there is. I mean, they did get
I don't know how they can be good. They need like severe point now.
Yeah, I think it was a step towards the right direction with like fixing the guide observing thing, which is like nice. I think one thing that could like emergency fix them as well is like if breachers become good again, because then at least you have something to handle staging units with. Because right now, if you're just gonna play like riptides and broadsides or whatever, like what do? You just I don't know, take it to the face and hope you can handle it. And then I think another fundamental problem is that like Montcalm is obviously the best and played detachment, and it's only good in the first 3 rounds, and that's like in general not a good place to be. Especially if you like going second and when you take your scoring last. And there's also the fact that like the challenger cards tends to equalize things out. So like front loading your scoring and everything is not really where you want to be either. So yeah,
No, I agree.
skeptical.
They have to be so shaped that they can like aggressively push into units that they otherwise would trade down with. Like they need to push into rhinos, they need to push into like infiltrating poxwalkers or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And the units have to be cheap enough to like start trading immediately because they only activate in one phase. And they have to get used to being tagged in like several places and be fine with that anyways. And it's like too much to ask. Like yeah. So let's put them at the bottom of D tier, I think.
Bottom of the worst army.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
Kulturu.
I think it has some things going for it. Like has amazing damage at some point. It obviously has very good move block. I feel like the army stands out when the small units are good as well. Like when 5 Gene Stealers are good, when the 5 bikes, the Atlan Jackals are good, as well as when the Flamer guys are efficient. When that works against in those matchups, then it's a good army. So like that's what makes it good against like IK, good against Sisters, good against many Eldar builds. I'm not like 100% sure of how like the aspect host one works specifically, but I still think it's GC favored. So that's like how I view it. Like it has some power there. I think the meta we're looking at now with like maybe a lot of Gatling despoilers, pushing Blood Angels, pushing Emperor's Children, and maybe some World Eaters and stuff, like that's a bit dangerous in my opinion. I still think it's a perfectly fine army. I'm sure like someone is gonna win a tournament with them, like a bigger tournament, and yeah, that's what I have to say.
Yeah, they basically want to avoid like they either want their shit to be really good against like toughness 3 bodies, as you said,
Yeah.
or they want their opponent not to have enough like board presence, so they screen them out. So if your opponent goes first and they have a pushy army,
Yeah.
you won't get your board back. Like your jackals is not going to be enough against their skirmishing units because they're just inherently worse, even if there are more of them. So then you have to drop in awkward spots, and you're not going to develop your game plan. Or you can play against like can shoot the armors that doesn't have enough firepower to lift a 20-man blob, so you always can lift it. IQ, for example, is one of those things. But if you do play against those things, I think you're gonna have a problem. But I feel like there's still like enough good. I don't know about the Astra matchup. I'm not sure. I could see it going either way. It's probably close, honestly. If you play a lot of tanks, I don't know if they can deal with it, honestly, or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know how that match will go. I think they will be good against Sisters. I think they will be quite good against F-Guard, actually. I think they will not be good against CK if you play like Björn's list, not Blooders, but they will be good against Eldar. They will be good against this. I don't know. I don't feel like putting it in B tier. I think I would put it at end of A tier.
Yeah, totally agree.
Nice.
What's going on? Why are we agreeing so much?
It
disgusts me.
Yeah. Okay, Votann boys.
Yeah, I think.
Let's talk about it with the new codex in hand, I guess.
Yeah, so to summarize my opinion, like the Berserk detachment is interesting. I still, when I think about it, when I like look at my armies and the amount of damage you put out, you stop thinking that it's interesting. To be fair, it's like the question isn't that hard to answer. It's like, yeah, they have a really bad save, they have a 4-up Pain and 1 wound. That's you can kill that for sure. Like the deep strike, they can ingress, they can rest some guys. If you don't kill the entire unit, they deal a lot of damage when they connect. They have advanced charge and +2 move, but that's it.
I need almost to pick up the enhancements and the strats again, but I for me, who has played a lot of Bloodletters in their life, saw some similarities. Let's say that, because I believe they have ways to like pick up their units, and all of them always have deep strike. And there's like an enhancement at the end of the reinforcements that rests berserkers. And you can do things like you lift them up, you deep strike them, and then you rest in the reinforcement steps. You get like a very close charge. And when those kind of things happen, that's like then we're getting into like unfair territory, which I do enjoy. I don't think it's gonna be like 60 berserker detachment. I think you're gonna play them like you do Bloodletters and World Eaters, for example. A few more, but I think what it's gonna come down to is how many points they're gonna cost. Because they're down to 1 wound, right?
Yeah, we do know that, but like still, is it efficient enough or not?
Yeah, exactly. They need to be a lot more cheaper for the detachment to be good enough. But there's definitely tricks there and some unfair things too. And then there's the transport detachment, right?
There's the transport detachment and also the index inheritor, so to speak.
Right.
That has the sustain strat and everything. And I think some datasets are worse, like Sagittarius, for example, but the fortresses are still very good.
And they have their thunder can scale a lot better, right?
Yeah, they did.
Their other weapon, perfect to sell more models. Excellent. No, but there's a lot of they have like this insane strats where they jump out 6 of a transport. If you're in the, I think it was the fortify like way, the way they collect points.
Yeah.
And And that's also like I always look towards those like really unfair, like movement-esque ways of delivering damage, and if you obviously have enough damage. And I feel like if that ends up becoming good and played well, I think Votann can be one of the best armies, maybe. Because they have every different kind of data ship that you want. Like they have fast shooting, they have like fast transports, they have tough targets, they have melee, they have shooting. They can like deliver them in an unfair way where they like jump into a transport, run over, like jump out 6, whatever. Like you can get like really far and deliver your shooting. So I think it's
They
very
also
interesting.
have a very cool new epic hero.
Right. Oh yeah.
Important factor to add.
Important factor for just
Conversation.
understood. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, they have the like what is it like stealth, blood search, and lone up. I think it is.
Yeah. And stand back up.
Stand up on a 2-up, right?
It's really cool.
Yeah, things have evolved since I started playing this game.
This is 2025.
Yeah,
Epic
yeah.
hero.
I think I would put new Votann between S tier and A tier. I think that's where it's gonna end up.
Yep.
It really depends on the points, but I think there's some ludicrous strats.
I mean, once again, we do have the points now, but it's.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
That was the point with that was the excuse for why they emergency nerfed Death Guard and Knights.
Oh yeah. Okay, maybe I should.
That is, you still need to put them on the table to evaluate, in my opinion.
Clearly, I'm still in post WTC vacation, so I haven't actually looked it up. So I guess I'll see what the Berserker costs this season. I'll decide. No, but I think they're up there. I don't know yet. I haven't seen them in play, but I think they have data sheets and strats to support it.
I agree.
Okay,
so any
interesting.
final adjustments before?
Yeah, it's very much a culmination of like what we have learned at WTC, the latest point changes, and obviously adding the Votann Codex.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I don't think I would make any big adjustments. I think we got most of them during the go.
Yeah.
I'm definitely sure that like Space Wolves shouldn't be an A, for example.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I think this makes sense.
I mean, I don't even think. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think anyone can criticize us for this. I think it's a
unfailable.
Yeah, it's a perfect.
We'll see in a week when it's on the other way around.
When how wins
exactly.
Everything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but if you agree or if you have any other opinions, please comment it below. I would love to know because this is going to be a fresh format, right? We have the WTC results. Let's build on that metagame. We have the MFM changes, so it's like going to be a whole new world.
I'm looking forward to be proven wrong as well. Like something is obviously very wrong here, and we'll see what it is.
I mean, wouldn't it be sad if we were completely right? It would be predictable. Yeah. Okay, I think we're done.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Go ahead, please.
No, and thank you for participating. I hope you had fun, Joel.
I did have fun. Time flies. Holy shit.
Time flies.
Yeah.
See you.
Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.